A land of deep, ancient magic, immense mineral wealth, and abundant opportunities for mischief. Welcome to Adventures in Erethin. We enter Erethin at a time in history when hyper-powerful beings are in every corner. Welcome back to Row the Monk with Pat. I'm your Dungeon Master, Marco, and I am joined by our rogue,
Torax,
our monk,
Althea,
and our cat.
Felix de Felicis, maybe going to become a cowboy.
Okay, an interesting career path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might also become a dwarf.
That might be a bit more difficult.
I can be whatever I want to be.
You're just like that, entitled kid that no one's ever said no to.
Mm-hmm.
definitely yes.
That is accurate.
That is very accurate.
Yeah. Well, guys, it's great to finally... We haven't played for a month now. Yeah, it's been a month. So let's do a recap so we can all get back on the same page of where we're at.
You act like I haven't been listening to these.
So, last time we played, Torax fully died. But was, he managed to be not resurrected, but his body is moving again. And then last episode, you guys met Jeremiah Black, a dwarf who is heading to Vystaron, and you guys are accompanying him and his convoy of Clydesdale horses, pulling merchant wares and things to be sold in Vystaron. On the way there, on the road, you guys found a number of posters that were attached to kind of message boards and signposts and things, declaring that some people were missing, and rewards were associated with those.
Only women, though. Sexist.
How did you just assume that they're women?
They're all women.
They're all women.
They could be wrong.
It's
I
Harina.
backtracked. Anyway, let's go. Why no? It doesn't say on there.
Yeah, but she knows her.
Yeah, that one. That one.
Yeah.
To be fair, with the elves, you never know.
Yeah, so Althea discovered or saw one of the posters was a person that she knew from back in Borzia, with her famous lemon meringue pies. You guys also encountered some northern mountain dwarves who are just the worst, and you guys managed to clear their impromptu roadblock that they had accidentally set up. And then you guys found a clearing to camp for the night, and we heard a riveting tale from Althea.
Great story.
And
Actually, so good.
you guys went to bed. It was decided that Torax would be on watch, since in his newfound condition, he doesn't need to eat, sleep, breathe, blink.
Or
Go to the
repeat.
toilet.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Pretty much.
Which comes out.
It
no
just
control.
happens.
Like a horse as we're walking.
Oh.
Great.
And early in the morning, there were some noises that you guys heard, some clunking and scraping and stuff. And you guys investigated what was going on, and found some tracks of something being dragged through the dirt. And you guys followed that through the forest and down a little hill to a stream, and you discovered 2 wagon wheels. Just your standard issue kind of wooden wheels with a metal rim around it. Just wagon wheels. And that's where we left off. and I think you guys all went back to bed after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we didn't find anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we rolled the wheel back down the hill.
And it broke.
Yeah, I think you just
Oh,
kind
yeah,
of
that's
launched
right.
it into the forest.
Great time.
Yeah, so you guys found 2 wheels, and you brought one of them back, and then you didn't
Realized that it doesn't belong to us.
Yeah, you have nothing
Yeah.
to do with it, so you just yeeted it off into the forest. Dope. Cool. So you guys are all sleeping or just standing in the middle of the clearing, gazing into nothingness. In Torax's case, to start off with, can I get all of you to give me a Wisdom saving throw?
I got a 14.
I got a 10. Is this... I do have advantage against being charmed, so...
I have an 11. And I also have advantage against being charmed.
Is this charming?
This
we
is
being-
not a charm thing.
We're trying to be put to sleep.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Because,
Both elves.
yeah, I got a
So
10.
10, 11, 14.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Okay. Felix,
Yes.
you are asleep. Kind of
Like most of the day.
wrapped up in your cape, your white furry cape from your grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of dirty now. You've
Yeah, I need to
rolled
get
around
it dry
in
cleaned, I know.
Yeah, it's quite filthy. Your grandfather would be horrified at this.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm
Isn't
sorry,
it-
Granddaddy.
You find yourself, when you kind of become conscious of where you are underwater.
I don't like this at all. Am I wet?
Yeah, you're underwater.
Like legit underwater?
You are underwater, and you can hear kind of like distantly above you. You can hear explosions and like wood crashing down, and you can look around you. It's quite like turbulent in the water here, but you can see that you are relatively like you can see the surface of the water above you, but you can't see the ocean floor beneath you. And you look around and you see a figure slightly taller but slimmer than you in the water just a little bit ahead of you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Give me a perception check.
Okay, that's a 9, but I would also like to say that Felix, as normally being a lucid dreamer, is like, this is a dream. This is totally a dream. 9.
9, okay. You see the figure in front of you is like feline in nature, and you can see that there is something hanging from them,
Okay, I swim towards them.
and they are sinking.
Oh, okay.
You swim towards them.
Yeah.
As you get closer, they turn to face you, and you see the absolutely terrified face of one of your elder sisters, Frances.
Francis! Oh my gosh, okay. Alright, okay. She's like one of my favorite sisters, because she always gives me candy. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna swim towards Francis and help her.
Give me an athletics check with disadvantage.
Oh. My athletics are already bad. Okay, that's 6 or... Okay, 6.
6? Okay. You swim towards her as fast as you can. She opens her mouth and screams, and bubbles come pouring out, like flying up to the surface, and she's sinking down. As you get closer to her, you can see that she has a chain wrapped around her legs with a heavy steel ball at the bottom, and she's plunging down into the depths. You follow her as fast as you can, but she's just outstripping you. And as you swim deeper and deeper, you begin to distantly make out other figures in the water that are also sinking downwards.
You can't do this to me. This is illegal. Okay, I would like to, because I'm assuming, because like Francis is way thinner than me, right? I'm
Yep.
gonna, I'm gonna cast Mage Hand to try and drag her back up.
Mage Hand has a limit of 10 pounds.
Yeah.
Which is, how much is that? That's like 4.4 kilograms?
Do you want to look up how much a normal cat weighs?
It's like about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me an Arcana check.
Oh, fuck. Okay, Arcana. Shit, an 8.
You send out your mage paw that goes shooting through the water. You grab, you just like try to grab her as much as you can. You grab a piece of her garment that just like tears up over her head, and she just plummets downwards. And drifting closer towards you, you can see these other figures, and you begin to make out other people that you recognize. You see your older brother Frederick. You see your mother, Frangelica. You see your father,
Felicia there?
Frank.
Is Felicia there?
You do see Felicia as well.
Gosh. Okay. Mildly panicking, but this is a dream.
Great.
So I swim to the top.
Okay. Where, so you're just going to abandon your family?
Yes.
Cool. Althea.
Ooh, yeah.
You are also not asleep, but kind of meditating, trancing. And you, while you don't sleep, being an elf, you do still get sort of dream-like hallucinations. And before you kind of see this parchment with these strange runes and symbols on them. And they're kind of glowing with this bright fire. And you see an image of a city of people, and those runes catching fire spark onto the buildings, and the entire city begins to erupt in flames. And you see people running and screaming, and you hear the thuds from people that are trapped inside buildings trying to burst out.
Oh, that's fun. Could I, recognize the runes? Or were they totally...
Give me a history check.
What is it?
19.
19, great. You know for a fact that you have seen these runes before, and you've studied them intensely, but being in that weird sort of hallucinatory dream-like thing, you just can't quite grasp what they are and what they mean. Okay. And you just feel this overwhelming feeling of guilt, and that's what you get.
Okay.
Thorax.
Wide awake. Staring into darkness. Wondering why I'm still alive.
You find yourself standing in a completely barren landscape. On top of a hill. And there's this wide plain in front of you of just like dark rock, and wind sort of howls between those rocks and the crevices in the ground and so on. The memory of the forest that you were in seems kind of distant and fading, like waking up from a dream. Like when you concentrate on it for a while, you can very faintly still make out the feeling of the cool earth beneath your feet, and the sounds of the rustling of trees and so on around you in the forest. But it feels like you're looking at it through like a very long tunnel, or like through like several feet of water. It just feels completely disconnected from you. So you gaze over this landscape, and you begin to see the rocks kind of begin cracking and moving, and below it you can see the glow of magma and like fire moving below there. And as you're looking out over that, you feel a hand on your shoulder.
guess I turn around to see who it is.
You turn around and you see, shorter than you are, but also visibly older. There's a half-elf man standing in front of you.
No!
And while you do recognize this person, he doesn't seem quite like you remember him. He seems distant and faded.
Oh, I guess I'll see if I recognise him. Do a perception check.
Yeah, you do recognize this person. It is your... I don't want to say his relation to you, but you recognize him as Naughtily.
I guess I start just asking where he's been. Where have you been all this time? What happened?
He opens his mouth to begin to speak to you, and his mouth just turns into an infinite chasm of fire and darkness just swirling around. And you...
this is some good shit that you're giving us.
And you begin falling into that vortex. And you're still distantly aware of that connection that you have to being in the forest. You know that is a place that perhaps you used to be or you still are, but you just can't quite grasp it. And you just feel falling into this this infinite void, the fire begin consuming you and burning at your very soul. And the two of you wake up to Torax just standing straight up in the middle of the clearing, just screaming.
Oh.
You know, the necromancer did say this was going down.
Yeah, this is normal. Okay, I'm gonna go up to him and slap him.
Give me an attack roll, I guess.
Sure.
Just, I mean, you're standing right in front of that, actually. You're not going to miss. Just roll damage on that.
Ooh, what is that? Just an unarmed strike?
Yeah, so a d4 plus your...
Oh yeah, because she's a monk, she actually gets to roll damage.
That's a 4 plus 6, so that's a 10.
Jeez, I just went to sleep. Calm down.
Sorry, I was panicking. Okay.
You smash him. You feel his jaw kind of very momentarily dislocating.
Ooh, I don't like that.
It's like a normal person's jaw definitely wouldn't dislocate with that slap, but just with his kind of decaying body, it does. And he just snaps out of it and stares at you with his kind of faded orange eyes.
I'm gonna slowly just creep back around him to, I definitely didn't hit you.
I wouldn't know. I can't feel anything.
Then I did hit you. Never mind. Why were you screaming?
What?
Great on.
Where was I? What?
You were screaming. We were sleeping. I was fine. I don't know about you. I was fine. Then bam, screaming. That's weird.
Well, I had another cool dream. I think I might have had too much catnip last night, but it was weird.
Felix, even though you're awake, you still feel this feeling of dread and helplessness.
Guys, I think I might have PTSD. My psychiatrist is going to have a lot of fun with this.
They're going to get a lot of money out of you.
Yeah. I mean, I already see them every second day, but,
Do they travel? Are they with us?
No, I had to leave them back in Felton.
Okay.
But yeah, my dad has one as well, so it'll be fine. Yeah.
Great.
You guys notice Jeremiah Black sitting at the fire and just kind of staring at you guys. And he just stares at Torax for a long time.
It's a bit rude.
I was yelling, "What are you looking at?"
It's not every day you see people just standing in the middle of the field screaming.
Well, you've never tried it before, so you don't understand how relaxing it is.
My psychiatrist tells me that screaming into the void really releases all your emotions. You should try it.
Right, I'd be sure to try that when I get the opportunity.
You should try it right now.
You have the opportunity.
Yeah, join us.
Stand in my spot as I try to gradually push him where I was.
Do it.
You guys jostle this poor dwarf into position in the middle of the clearing, and he just kind of looks around and he goes, "Right, well, so I just like, do I scream anything in particular, or just
Just like this. Ah!
Just let all the pain out.
I'm not more emotion. You
More.
know.
You know,
more.
Yeah.
my psychiatrist just says, look up at the sky and think about what it means, and then the scream will come naturally.
You see him stare up into the sky for a long time. You're not sure if he's staring at one of the moons or just kind of past the void, you know, into beyond. And you just see his face kind of begin to drop after a few minutes of just staring into the void. And he just unleashes a guttural scream that echoes through the forest around him.
Works every time.
He has issues.
Yeah, gosh, that's weird.
My words.
And as he screams, you just see like fire swirling around his hands as he's got them clenched by his side.
Oof.
I'm gonna take several steps back.
I'm gonna take this time to steal his hat.
Take several setbacks as well.
Yeah.
Give me a sleight of hand check.
Oh, not good. 6.
As you grab his hat, he just stops screaming. The fire recedes back into his hands, and he turns to you and says, "Trying to steal my hat again, are you?"
I just think it suits me better than it does you.
Wow.
Little one, if you want to wear the hat, you can wear the hat. Just,
Okay.
It doesn't really fit you well.
That doesn't matter, I look adorable.
It goes over, no doubt, but it goes over your entire face. How are you supposed to see with that on?
Not. This is my sleeping hat.
Right, it's a bit late for that now. The sun is up. We gotta get moving.
Exactly. So I take the hat and move into the carriage and sleep there.
One of the big Clydesdale horses just kind of snorts at you as you walk past it.
Yes, I know, Ted. I know. But I'm a cat and I'm lazy.
He huffs angrily and paws the ground.
Hoofs.
Hoofs the
They have
ground.
hoofs.
Yeah,
It
I'm
is
sorry.
forward.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, when you pull out the ground.
That's
Okay,
weird.
good.
English doesn't make
Sorry.
See,
sense.
I know horses. I'm a
Hoofs
horse
the
guy.
ground.
Well, you have a horse face.
Ooh.
I cast vicious mockery on her.
Honestly, yeah. The next attack I make. Actually, wait. What's my wisdom stat?
Yeah, that's a critical hit.
Oh no, I rolled a 17. So,
Oh, damn. Okay.
yeah.
Fine.
Um,
You win this time.
Okay. So you guys see Jeremiah begin to kind of round up the horses and untether them from some of the trees that he'd attached them to, and get them back onto the carts. And he gets ready to go. Is there anything else you guys would like to do before you head off again?
Nap.
I think I'm asking what was all the fire all about?
I'm just gonna hop onto the little wagon.
You can't just ask people what their fire is about. It's racist.
I'm sorry. Fire.
When you were
Yeah.
screaming, can you remember anything?
Right. I was sort of just consumed by contemplating the void. You know,
Yeah.
it really has a way of getting to you.
It's true.
Yeah. My friend Cecil tells me about this all the time. He and his buddy Carlos do this like
You know
nightly.
Carlos?
I know Carlos, of course. Everybody knows Carlos.
The scientist.
Yeah, with like teeth like a military cemetery.
He's a handsome man, that fella.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
I don't
It's a
know.
shame he disappeared into that desert town. Haven't seen him in years. Kind of gives a 1,000-yard stare. Anywho, we should get going. You guys get back on the road. You have kind of a on the road breakfast. You know, he's got some dried meats and some things that he hands out to you guys that you can eat as you're walking along or sitting on the carts or whatever. as you guys clear a part of the forest and the road comes back closer to the coast again, you guys look out over the Bay of Vystaron. And your first good look that you got at this place, there's beautiful blue waters, and you can see ships going around, and you guys get your first glimpse of Vystaron. It's very distant from here, but you can see in the distance where some mountain ranges go up, and you can very faintly make out some shapes, buildings and such. As it's still kind of early morning and it's still a little bit dark, you can still see a couple of twinkling lights in the city. So you guys spend the day on the road again, and you come across a couple more of those wanted posters.
Ooh.
More women?
You just gotta pick out like the one guy now, aren't you?
More elves?
I just randomly shuffled them all at the beginning, and this is just the next one that's on the pile.
I bet it's a woman elf monk.
So amongst some other things that's on a kind of a notice board with other writings and so on, you guys do see this missing poster.
Oh, get some.
Okay, it is a dwarf. His name is Azazel, but not spelled like Azazel. It's with an I. Azazel Harmon. He's quite a tall dwarf. He's like 4'2".
How's that?
Dwarves are taller than like halflings.
What?
So halflings are like half human size. Dwarves are in between halflings and people. So that's not particularly tall for a dwarf.
I reckon I'm gonna ask Jeremiah if he knows this Azazel.
That's racist.
Are you saying all dwarves know every other dwarf?
We asked him if he know the other three.
Did we?
Yes. We're like, do you know who these people are? No idea. These all the time.
So sorry, how are you going to ask him?
I'm going to say, do you have any idea who this one is?
Right, you think just because I'm a dwarf, I know all other
What
dwarves?
did I tell you?
No, we asked you the other three ones, so did you just assume that I was a racist?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Sorry, somewhere.
high elves.
I mean, I may as well just ask you, do you know this fella over here? And he points out another missing poster of an elf. He says, no, I don't know this dwarf. There are millions of dwarves all over the world. I can't know every one of them.
Okay, but I know
You know
this
what
elf,
bothers
so
me?
I really don't.
The elves are worth 500 gold, and every other race is only 50 gold pieces.
I'm not biased, but I feel like that's fair.
Now that's racist.
I'm an elf myself.
Yeah, it's still racist.
You're both elves. And then a kitten
That
is
is-
gonna be worth a few thousand.
That is an interesting idea. I'm not sure why that is, but
Maybe we
Okay.
taste nicer.
I can confirm.
Yeah,
yes.
probably. Elves probably taste like chicken.
I don't believe the Vystaron Crown's Guard is offering rewards to just make stew out of everyone they find.
You don't know that.
I
Not
bite
every
Torox's
stew.
ankle.
You know that's fair. I don't know that.
You don't.
Did you say you bite Torex's ankle?
Yeah.
It tastes putrid and decaying.
You don't taste like chicken. I can
You bit the
confirm.
wrong elf. Don't bite.
You made the wrong decision. Ow!
So you guys have another missing poster there of an elf.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do terribly at pronouncing this name. Deldrak Silastra.
Yeah,
Okay?
probably.
Who's 450 years old, elvish with blue eyes, brown hair, and he's 6'2".
Hot.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was about to say.
He's
450. Whew.
he's
It is.
probably like an 8 for normal people, but probably like an elf 6.
Yeah.
He's an elf 5. At least.
Certainly not as beautiful as yourself.
I'm an elf 11.
So you guys is that all you guys want to do with that?
I do want to see if there's like any like tutoring jobs, because I am very good at the maths, not at the language.
Isn't your intelligence like -1?
That doesn't matter.
Or are you just really stupid with everything else and like a genius with maths? So it averages out to just a -1.
Not the smartest one, yeah.
I'll roll for...
Actually, my history is pretty good. I'm a history geek.
There are absolutely no tutoring jobs that you can see.
Are there any jobs?
You see a couple of requests for like farm hands and such. You see a notice from the nearest town, Clifton. There's someone hiring like at the inn there.
I can totally work at the inn. I'm nearly legal.
You guys see some notice from like a zoology department talking about like breeding seasons and so on. Yeah, it's just a collection of random things.
Okay.
Cool. So you guys keep going on the road.
Oh, hold on, sorry. Is there anybody offering lute lessons? Because I feel like I need to... Yeah, I have a lute strapped to my back.
You don't see any lute lessons being offered.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can teach you.
You can teach me the lute?
Sure.
While we're traveling, we're playing the lute.
I don't know how to play the lute, but I'll teach you.
I'm proficient in the lute, but...
Althea, give me a deception check and a performance check.
Okay. What is my... Oh, that's... So, deception is 16, and performance is 11.
You do an extremely mediocre job with this lute, but you manage to convince Felix that, like, no, this is like a technique. It's like, you know, the notes don't all have to sound perfect. It's more about like improv and like authenticity.
This is how all the big cities are playing the lute.
I see. Yeah, because I'm only from Felton, and like my tutor in Felton was also from Felton, so I get that in Borgia you guys have like different styles.
Yeah, that's like
so
a really rural way to play it, where everything
Yeah.
sounds perfect.
Yeah.
But if you want to make it big in Vystaron with your lute,
Mm-hmm.
like they're looking for that artsy stuff. You
Yeah.
know, the,
So you have to sound like trash.
yes, it's in.
Asterisk, visible confusion, asterisk.
I keep playing my lute the way Althea showed me.
That's right.
Cool.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so you guys keep going along this road. It's kind of winding back and forth from being next to the coast and going further into the forest and like up around some mountains and stuff. You guys pass some cliffs and some lower like coastal like beaches and stuff. It's a very varied coastline, but it's very mountainous here. So you guys are constantly climbing up and then climbing down and so on. And you guys see some interesting creatures that are inhabiting this forest. You guys see like a little family of jackalopes running in front of you guys.
Do they look fast?
Yeah, they're fast.
Can I throw a dart at them?
That's a suck, boy.
Give me an attack roll.
Good. I probably don't catch it. 14.
Hang on. It's very important that we properly determine this.
Let me get us some jackalopes.
The
y'all.
storyline depends on this
You don't know.
hinging moment.
It's great because you can hold on to the horns while you eat it like a drumstick.
Very tender.
Like a really good drumstick and a rib together.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. If we can get the whole family, like, even better.
Yeah, yeah, you get this thing.
Oh, I do.
You just see these cute little jackalopes running across the road, kind of like squeaking and clinking their horns together. And you just instinctively just like throw a dart at one, and it just hits it right in the head, and it falls over dead.
I would like to shout to another one. Your horns are crooked, and I cast vicious mockery.
See, now that's
Just
just
as he
me.
closed it.
Mine was a quick,
It
swift
trips
death.
over and cries.
How big are they? Like,
Well, they're rabbit size.
How much health do these guys have?
really not a lot.
How much damage does your dart do?
D4 plus 4.
Come on, let's take this out.
Plus 4, so it must have a health below at least 5 then.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause I can only do a d4 of damage with Vicious Mockery.
What is it? Oh yeah, it's 1, 2, 4.
Needs to beat a 13.
Sorry, I was just trying to connect my
I'm thinking maybe I'll make like a necklace out of the horns.
Yeah, might be nice.
Yeah.
Like one of those.
You skin it, use it as leather straps.
Oh,
And
yeah,
then it's
you
like
get to
a-
finally get your leather bands.
That's what I've been looking for.
Damn it! I break it apart so you can't.
I'll copy yours all the way.
You insult this guy's little horns, and he just instantly gives out this squeak and just flops over dead onto his side.
That's great.
Nice.
They have 1 hit point.
Oh.
How could this happen?
But while I'm there,
I just keep casting Vicious Mockery. Just.
can I?
Okay, I'll just roll saving throws for all of them. That's a 5. That's a 3. That's an 8. That's a 4. You just kill this
Are they all
entire...
dead? Nice.
So Alfia kills one with a dart, and I'm just like, ha,
want-
you little bitch.
I want you to come up with 4 insults that you would give to these jackalopes.
Worth 1 hit point each.
It's like,
Ha, your brother's so weak. Ha, your mother's so
I just killed your
your
mom.
it's like, you think you're cute? Look at this, and I do my puppy dog eyes. And hey, I heard that a rabbit's foot is good luck. Wait till I get your feet.
Was that an insult?
Sure.
I don't know.
It's more of a threat, really. And then to the other one, I wouldn't even want your feet. Your feet are crooked as fudge.
Ooh, that's terrible. Cool. You guys have slaughtered this entire family of...
I like to gather them all, put them on the wagon, and then while we're...
Jeremiah just stares at you in shock.
As the wagon starts soaking with blood behind it.
Yeah, because I like
Well,
to
only
skin
your
them.
one. All the other ones are just all in
Oh, yeah.
What, you would have got a few with your darts. I'm not going to make you roll for it, because honestly, it's...
I would like to start skinning them and taking off their horns.
I'm just gonna
Okay.
be gnawing at one.
Just
Wow,
a raw
that is
jackalope.
Feral.
She's
Yeah. So,
Okay,
Um,
give it a pass.
Torax, what are you feeling as you look at these raw
like
hunks of
raw
meat?
meat?
I hand him a brain.
I just look at the brain, it's still pulsating. Just, oh, I wish I was dead. Still in agonizing pain.
Don't you want to eat it?
I don't want to eat anything.
Then zombies like brains?
No, well, I don't know.
Is it appetizing? The blood? Mm.
I think I.
Does it remind you of the life you once had and you just kind of want to...
I get the brain. Oh, look at it. I just chuck it straight at her.
I dodge.
I am also going to give an insight check for Jeremiah to see if he realizes that Torax is not great. Torax, do you want to give me... what's your deception modifier? We'll just use your passive deception score.
Modifier, just the deception modifier. So
So just the plus.
It's minus now, isn't it?
it is a -1.
Cool. Jeremiah looks at you holding this pulsating brain, and you just see kind of like realization dawn on his face, and he just kind of stares at you guys for a while and then says, "You haven't been talking to Vincent, have you?"
Oh, you mean John?
Yeah, we don't know Vincent.
I'm not sure who John is, but
Neither do we.
Vincent, the shady fella, always wears the hood and kind of likes to pretend he's all mysterious. He's really...
Oh, yes.
He told
John.
us his name was John.
Well, we named him John.
He didn't want to give us his name.
Yeah.
And we thought he was useless,
We
so...
insulted him.
Yeah.
I hope you folks know what you're doing.
Yeah, we're gonna go to my daddy.
Right, when you say...
And I turn, and then her father. Father dearest will be most proud.
I'd rather not know what kind of fucked up shit you guys are into.
Whoa, that was mean.
That is
I mean-
uncalled for, good sir.
They
I
have
don't-
made a live person, like dead person alive, so
I don't-
technically not necrophilia.
I don't really...
Oh shit!
That's what I'm getting. I don't really like to kink shame, but necrophilia is sort of where I draw the line.
You got a pretty fiery personality yourself. It's so bad.
I think he's trying to flirt with you.
Are you a sadist, good sir?
Give me a charisma check, Torax.
My charisma's gonna be.
Oh. So.
At the bottom.
6.
Right now, I appreciate your interest. But I just got to put it out there that, like I said, necrophilia not really my thing. Maybe one day we'll pass each other in the streets and you'll be alive. I don't know, but just I don't really see myself getting into that sort of relationship.
I mean, he is falling to pieces.
I
So
left
that's
my.
understandable.
Do I still? Oh no, I lost my cloak, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that I left like the
I think
bit
you've got Althea's
Yeah,
like,
you have my
robe or
my
cape.
Because I was saying I take that off as if I lift some skin. I say, don't you want some of this? As a flab of my skin just falls off.
That is right there.
Jeremiah rolled a natural 1 on his Constitution save. He just vomits immediately.
That's gross.
I would like to go over and put a paw on his back. Just be like, it's okay.
It just came off and it was all slimy. And
It's like you've never seen skin come off. Wow.
It's alright. Let it all out.
Aren't dogs
Let it
supposed
all
to
out.
party?
Mm.
It's like what, bro?
Fantastic.
And I'm like, while he's throwing up, I'm gonna like take one of the jackalopes and like separate the skin and the meat in front of him. Like it's natural.
As the jackalopes like ran across the road, Jeremiah had begun saying something. Oh look, these little jackalopes for a little. Oh good. Oh my god. What are you? What are you doing? As you guys just like had massacred these people, and
People.
sorry, yeah, jackalopes are people too.
Well, to be fair, I'm. Like
You're a
that.
people. So.
I am a people. Multiple.
And as he looks around, he kind of begins to point up into the sky and says, "Look over there," and then looks back at you guys and like thinks better of it and just ignores it.
I look around for a bird.
What are you looking at?
What are you pointing at?
Give me perception checks.
Oh.
Ooh.
Perception.
18.
13.
Torax, what did you get?
I'm looking at my modifier. It's gone down to that, so it is 12.
I've got an 18.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you immediately see this. You guys all very quickly, despite Jeremiah's best efforts to not draw your attention to it, you guys just see this very large bird soaring overhead, which Felix, with your keen eyes, you can kind of see from its silhouette against the sun. It's a griffin.
Did someone say chicken tonight?
But I throw a dart at it.
No.
I shout up, "Hey, you look like a dove."
What's the range on Vicious Mockery?
60 feet.
No, it's more than 60 feet up.
Damn.
Then my dart's on this.
Yeah. You just throw a dart up in the air.
Disagree.
Roll a d4 for me.
Oh, who's it hitting?
3. Do I have to add my damage bonus?
No, I'm gonna give a dexterity saving throw for Jeremiah.
Oh shame, this poor guy.
He gets a dart straight into his foot.
Oh no!
Like you shoot,
So done with
you just
that.
throw it straight up into the air, and it just comes falling back down, and like stabs through his boot.
Whoa, where did that dart come from? What?
And he looks up at the griffin. In the...
Whoa, that thing just threw that dart at you, bro. Whew.
And you were going to say that it's beautiful, weren't you?
Yeah.
It's attacking you,
You
Jeremiah.
see why I killed the jackalope, right?
Give me
They were going to
deception
eat
checks.
us.
As he looks at the dart property of Alvin.
Can I give her a help action? I'm gonna give you a help action so you can roll with advantage.
Okay,
Oh, she
it's a 15.
Oh, yeah.
15.
Yep, he fails. He like pulls out a crossbow and he starts like aiming it up at the griffin, just
Shoot
like
it,
trying to get a beat on it. There's that damn thing, just dropping these darts wherever it's flying.
Would have looked so good with my leather straps.
How much
That
damage
thing comes
does...
closer, I'm gonna get it real good.
Agree.
Yeah.
She points out all wildlife to us. You never know.
I'm gonna cure wounds him.
Okay, great.
So he knows wrong.
Here, let me patch up your foot.
Here's some band-aid.
He kind of shrugs it off and says, "Nah, it's right. I got it." And he pulls it out and cures himself.
But I was gonna be kind.
I appreciate that, little fella. That's you know what? For the rest of the day, you can keep that.
Yeah. I was gonna keep the hat anyway.
Oh, wow.
As you guys come up, like you guys are kind of cresting a hill and like winding back closer to the ocean again. You guys see a couple of like by now it's probably like late afternoon, and you guys see a couple of golden canaries just kind of flitting around between the trees and like dancing around with each other.
I get my short bow out.
I would like to throw dots.
What is lovely nature?
I'm a wood elf, okay? So
As I'm like getting ready to release my bolt, as I release it, I just mutter to myself, I feel nothing.
well, actually, I changed my mind. I don't want to throw a dot. I want to run up to them. Like, are they high?
Yeah, you see like a
Like a
little
lobby.
cloud of like vape smoke coming out from them, and they're like, "Dude,
Oh, that makes it really slow then.
Gotta catch some waves on the beach, dude." No, they're quite
Lowish.
low. Yeah, they're
Okay,
just-
I'd like to run and try and catch two with my hands.
Just,
Then-
just give me another second.
What are you doing?
I mean, are we still recording?
Yes.
Okay. See,
Like we've just been recording.
see, here's the thing: is sometimes you like sometimes as a DM you put things into your game that are just kind of like, oh, this is just like a fun little thing. That, just like a little hidden thing that
Are you
I
saying
can
that
sort
you're
of like
triggered?
chuckle to myself about. But I'm like, oh, but they'll never like find out about it or anything. It'll just be this thing that they notice, and then maybe one day it'll come up again, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I do remember that thing. That's interesting. We never realized that
I
at the
bet
time.
So you're
Canaries
saying
are like
is
the-
those
like
canaries
solid.
are like actual people just transform themselves into canaries? Are they druids?
Okay, so
They're
you,
golden.
so you, well, yeah, like yellow, little canary shape.
Canary shape. Nice.
So you throw a dart at these things.
No, if she goes up and
I'm
catches
gonna go
them.
catch them.
And I'm using my bow and arrow.
Oh, you're gonna go catch
I'm
them.
gonna run up and try and catch two.
I guess I'll
Gotcha.
stop because she's going to be in the way
That's
there.
fine. I
Well,
have
give-
high decks. Again.
Dodge.
Yeah, give me
Actually,
a
I would
dex.
like- I
Give
would
me a
like
dex
to
check.
get You did 10 dex.
Well, like a grapple check. Sorry, so it'll be athletics. Actually.
Oh, that's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna happen.
But athletics?
A massive athletics check.
That
adds
is
up
a
to
4.
Nat 20. They just flit away and disappear off into the into the forest.
Those druids really
Yeah,
like.
that's 24 canary. Seems a bit high.
Let's talk about it later on the. I don't know. We need like a talk show, like an after game thing.
In the pizza break.
Yeah, let's talk about it in the pizza break. Okay. Cool. You try to grab these canaries, they slip away.
Damn it.
And you guys crest the hill, and you come over a beautiful cliff area that's like overlooking the ocean, and you guys get a much better view of Vystaron now as well. You know, you're much closer, but you're still a fair distance away. And at the top of this hill, at the top of this cliff, sitting right on the edge, you see from behind this old man that's just sort of peacefully looking out over the bay, just sitting with his legs dangling over the edge. He's wearing like this sort of patched robe that flutters in the wind, and he's got this long white like dreadlocks going down almost all the way down his back, and this like dark skin, kind of a lifetime of wandering around outside. And you see him just sort of peacefully sitting there, staring out over there.
I get my own.
Throw it on
I'm not
in
gonna just kill everyone we see. Just slowly make our way into this room.
It's the druids.
I have a party of MurderVobos. What has happened?
I do not know about it.
I see it, I kill it.
I would like to put down my cowboy hat in the caravan, sneak up and just stand next to him, have my cape flutter in the wind dramatically.
Yeah, give me a stealth check if you want.
What is that? Is that okay? 8 plus 12, 11.
That's terrible.
I think it's pretty good.
You like
Good enough.
as soon as you come within earshot of this guy, where like you would be able to hear him talking, over the wind, you just hear his voice. Like he doesn't even turn his head, and he just says, "Hello there, little one."
I still just go stand next to him and be like, "Hi," with like my hands on my hips and like full on
Shakira?
Superman pose.
Your hips don't lie.
I barely have hips.
I think you might have too much hips. It costs vicious mockery.
Honestly, I'm a good target for it. I'm sensitive.
He says, "Beautiful day, isn't it?"
Yeah. Sure.
And he just continues to stare out.
Is he a human?
Give me a perception check.
6.
He's definitely human shaped.
Are you human shaped?
Well, I mean, you can sort of see that I am human shaped, can't you?
Are you human?
Well, I mean, look at me. I'm not an elf or anything. I don't have like those pointy ears.
Yeah, like sometimes
Me
you're
and
not
Alfie
sure.
just staring.
Yeah, literally.
Really? Way to stereotype.
You wish you had pointy ears.
I'm sorry, I didn't think that was like a stereotype as such. It's just that all elves have pointy ears, so I'm not sure.
Yeah, oh,
Racism.
I once
Well,
knew an
humans
elf
die
that
young,
didn't
so-
even have ears.
An elf that didn't have ears.
Yeah, he was on my uncle's ship. He worked with them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Was he just not born with ears, or did he...
Oh no, I think they got cut off by his cousin or something.
Right, just sort of shenanigans went wrong. Yeah. Tragic things, It's, if you think about it, you have an above average number of ears.
Yeah.
So there's
Yeah.
that for you.
I twitch my ears.
How many ears do you have?
I have 2.
Okay.
Why is that above average?
How many is?
Because
Well,
some
because-
people have less than 2 ears.
Oh, you're right.
Yes. So the man says, "You're all heading to Vystaron then?"
Yeah. And not enthusiastically.
I just grunt.
He says, "Well, fair travels to all of you. I fear the road ahead may be a difficult one. So
Why?
Are you a prophet?
Why?
I'm sorry, what?
What do
Are you
know?
a prophet? You just look very, like, wise and prophety.
Yes, people always associate age with wisdom, but the truth of the matter is that old people can be just as ignorant and oblivious as anyone else.
So what you're saying is you're stupid and we shouldn't trust a word you're saying.
You shouldn't trust what anyone says.
That would make life very difficult.
Indeed, life is already very difficult.
Oh, gosh.
Why?
But
is
don't
it
take my
difficult?
word for it.
Oh, right. Oh.
Is it racing the song?
Why is the road ahead difficult? What do you know?
I don't know anything.
Why
What
would
traps have
say
you
that?
set up? Are there, like, bear traps on the road?
I should hope not. This isn't really an area that bears frequent.
Why not?
Because of the bear traps.
Absolutely. You wouldn't be walking around in a place full of elf traps now, would you?
Oh, they wouldn't catch me, Sire.
Well,
My
they're not
dex
using
is
the
too
right
high.
traps.
Yeah, the dex is very high.
He looks at you and says, yes, you do have a very good dex score.
Thank you. Why do you know that?
He is a prophet.
I'm quite perceptive, I don't know.
Why?
I just noticed.
What do you do?
So, what do you do with your day? Do you just, like, stare out at the ocean, or...?
Yeah, I just sort of wander around, and it's a beautiful world that has been created for us, and it's good to take time to just, marvel at it from time to time.
You're not a very productive member of society, are you? I cast vicious mockery. No, no.
Yeah. I bet he has sandals on, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Does he have socks and sandals on?
Oh.
He's wearing like full like socks that go like thigh high,
Oh god.
with what do you call them? Platform Crocs.
Oh!
Is he wearing pants?
He's wearing a Speedo, isn't he?
No.
Oh, okay. Wow.
He is wearing robes, but they tend to flutter around a bit in the wind.
Is he sitting or standing on this cliff?
Well, he was sitting, but he stood up when you guys.
I feel sorry for
came
you.
to-
Shit. I just, like, full on turn away. It's like, oh.
He circles back in front of me. What is?
He approaches very close to you and like gets up to you and like pats your head, Felix, so that he's like right in front of you and says, "Well, farewell to you, little one."
Okay, bye, guy.
I attempt to push him off the cliff.
What's your name?
My name.
No, the guy next to you.
Oh, right. That's Timothy.
Okay, then what's your name?
My name's Jimothy.
Are you guys related?
Why would you think we're related?
Because, like, parents do this thing where, like, the names are really similar.
Do you see someone next to him?
Like, all my siblings have really similar names to me, and it's great. Because I definitely know that they're my siblings. It's good. It's like anybody whose name starts with F, I'm like, yep, I'm related to them.
Big F.
Right. Well,
F's in the chat.
sure, that might be something that some families like to do. I don't know. It seems sort of weird to me. A lot of confusion. Like you'd all have the same initials. It would make you get something in the post, and it would be, like F de Felicis, and you'd be like,
How do you know my name?
What? I don't.
Prophet.
He is a prophet.
The man just kind of like stares at you guys wild-eyed, and then like looks behind him to the cliff, and he kind of just like takes a step back, staring at you guys, maintaining eye contact, and he just falls off the cliff backwards.
What did he say his name was? Jimothy.
Question. Did we see anyone else around him? Who's Timothy?
No, you guys didn't see anyone else.
Okay.
I'd like to call out to Timothy and be like, did you also jump, Timothy? Are you still here?
Give me a perception check.
9.
You just hear a faint chirping of a canary.
We're all pointing at each other.
Whoa. Hold on, just move for a second.
Can I see the canary?
Grab a check.
Jimothy,
Pull on my dot. Just start wildly looking around.
Jimothy, if you are invisible, please make yourself visible. We just want to talk.
I don't want to talk with this guy.
You can.
I want to talk.
It was in wearing underwear.
If you want to try to
No,
see.
Jimothy. Oh,
Well,
sorry,
you guys-
Timothy.
If you guys want to try to see the canary, you can all make perception checks. You've already made a perception check, but the others can make perception checks.
Ooh, that's
Nice as well.
24.
Yeah, cool. You see this canary sitting on a branch nearby.
Cool. Is it looking at us?
His name's Timothy.
I'm gonna like.
She's gesturing towards herself
Like,
while
come
whistling.
here, like flushing yourself, I'm really hot, just as you wave yourself off.
So you want it to come towards you.
Yeah.
Give me an animal handling check.
So not very high. I think it's just 9.
Yep, it just sits there and stares at you, kind of like cocking its head side to side.
That was something else. Fine. Next time, canary.
Jeremiah says, "Right, the sun's getting real low. We should probably get a move on."
The sun's getting real low.
Okay, let's get a move on.
Um,
I bet those jackalopes are starting to smell.
Yeah, so I scrambled back into my caravan and put my hat back on.
Cool. You guys continue along the rest of this road until the sun sets before you guys get to where Jeremiah tells you you're stopping next. But then as kind of twilight settles into darkness, you guys approach a town. So this town is situated on a section of quite large like granite cliffs along the coast. And this town is much larger than the town you guys were at before, Errol.
Is this the Clifton you mentioned?
Yes, this is Clifton. So it's a town of like a couple thousand people. So it's not like huge, but it's...
Not a tiny little town.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and you guys see a little sign that says, "Welcome to Clifton."
Cute.
Can I use perception check to see if there are any more notice boards or bounty boards where people might put missing posters?
Yeah, directly under that thing, you guys...
These people are missing.
I again look for loot players.
What's that, a human?
Cheap.
Sheep?
Cheap.
Oh.
Arika, I want to say Bocconcini, but Sebonchi.
Sabanchi. Oh, she's tall.
Sebanchi or
He
Sebonchi? No, Sebon. You said Ban.
Sabanchi.
Sebonchi.
Tall person.
Tall. 6'1".
What
Age
is-
32. Human. Brown. BB.
Oh,
double Bs.
she's a ranger as well.
How can you tell she's a ranger?
Don't know she's a ranger. She appears to be a ranger.
She's totally a ranger.
What makes you think she's a ranger?
Her
Arrows.
clothes?
Her clothes, the fur kind of coat.
Yeah.
The
Wait.
head bandana?
Wait.
Kind of looks like a dude.
That's a dude.
Yeah, that's
Those
what I
are
was
nips.
thinking.
Can I see?
Yeah, that's definitely a dude. You can see his
He's
nips.
got some lovely pecs.
Some man titties.
He has a very feminine face.
Yeah, he does.
Is he a half elf?
He,
Very,
he's
very
bare
okay.
chested.
But it's also because of the hair, I believe.
Yeah. No, you can see with the jaw. It's a guy.
I want to see something.
And the pecs. The pecs kind of give it away.
I didn't see the pecs.
Damn.
It was a jaw.
They're just man boobs.
man boobies.
Yeah, very muscular man movies. Cool. Yeah, so you guys see that one and a couple of duplicates of ones that you've already seen
Okay.
before.
Good, can I take some of those? I want more.
Cool. Jeremiah tells you guys that he knows a good inn that you guys can go to.
Oh yes.
We
And
don't have
he-
any money.
And he leads you
Oh,
over
yes.
to an inn there. Did you spend
Most
All
I
of your
spent
money?
all of my and his money,
That's right.
You had like 45
and I
gold.
got 5 from him.
Is that all you had? 5 gold?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Um,
because the
'cause
other 10 were in his jacket.
my jacket
Yeah.
that
fair
fell
enough.
to the
Oh,
bottom.
that's right.
My
Um,
lovely jacket.
Alfie,
I
do
still
you
have
have-
10. I have 10.
Okay, so you guys have got a bit of money. Not like a ton, but you've got a bit of money.
But like, how much would a night at an inn be, like in the small town?
Let's go ask.
Let's go ask.
Yeah, so you guys approach this inn. You hear lively music coming from inside, and there are some people coming in and out of this inn. And Jeremiah heads over to a stable where there's a small halfling, like a young halfling boy. He gives a couple of coins to the kid, and the kid begins to tether the big Clydesdale horses to
How?
some stalls.
You should still be
A halfling boy.
I mean, the ropes are like dangling down.
Okay.
He like scrambles up the horses and the carts and everything. He's like it's a lot of effort, but he wrangles those. Like they're quite placid creatures. He doesn't have to like drag them against their will into
Yeah.
the stables. Otherwise,
He has proficiency
not.
in animal handling.
Yeah. He probably can talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, he is in fact a level 20 druid. So you know,
Wow.
yeah, this
Everyone in this town is true?
Oh, hello there.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
yeah, he's just like a young kid.
Yeah, I want to go
That's level
look for like a receptionist at the end or like, yeah.
Yeah, so you come in. It's sort of like
You come in.
You missed it. There was an even better one before. I almost lost it.
It's like the bottom floor is like a tavern, so there are people eating food and having drinks and like playing cards and sort of just kind of getting hanging out with each other, and the bar sort of forms a place where you can see there's like a ledger where records are kept and stuff, and a little sign that says bookings here. So you can go up to there.
Yeah. I go up to there.
They don't see you. You're too small.
I would like to try and climb up.
I would like to walk behind him.
Actually, I'm just gonna shout out and be like, "Excuse me."
There's a little like rope that comes down from the top of the counter for like a bell because they've got halflings and stuff that
Yeah.
come into this place as
I
well.
think.
You ding the bell, and the floor below you just like boosts up a couple of feet,
Nice.
Ooh.
and your head just like pokes over the edge of the counter as a bell rings.
Seems like an expensive inn.
And,
yeah, can we afford this?
And a young lady comes rushing over and says, "Oh, hello there."
Hi. We'll be needing 2.5 beds. Actually, no, 1.5 beds. One of us will not be sleeping.
We could just do it with one bed.
One bed.
Actually,
I need a bed.
I don't need a sleep.
Meditate.
Half a bed,
Half
please.
a bed.
One room.
Right. Well, yes, we can give you a halfling room. Do you all want to stay in the same room together?
Yes.
Right. I'm sure we can manage to get a room that's large enough for all of you, but only has one bed. We'll be able to manage that. She looks over at Jeremiah and she says, "Oh, hello, Jeremiah." And he looks over at her and says, "Evening, Cassidy. Fine evening tonight."
Cassidy is a nice
Cassidy.
name.
Thank you, little one. Right. So for the three of you, that's just a silver for the night.
I can spring that.
A silver.
Just a silver, yes.
That's so good.
Mildly affordable. The last thing we spent money on was 50 gold.
For 50
Yeah.
silver or 50 gold?
50 gold. You cost us 50
Very
gold.
expensive.
Mind you, that is for a small room. You'd like one that's large enough for all of you to sort of walk around in and everything. That's sort of like sleeping space only. I don't know what your...
Yeah, they just need to sit down.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's just a small halfling room with there's room on the floor for you guys to sit down. That's the most affordable room we have. Great. Will you be eating or drinking anything tonight?
We did actually bring some.
She looks like locks eyes in thorax as she says that and beams up at you and says, "Look mighty thirsty there."
I would like to hold some of the.
Yeah, the jackalopes?
Yeah, I would like to hold some of the jackalopes onto the thing and be like, how about we sell you some of these?
Right, that's not quite how this works here. Please, that's very unhygienic. Please remove that
Like
from the establishment.
Like even the skinned ones?
Especially the skinned ones.
But can't you just cook them up?
Well, perhaps you can cook them up. We don't. Are those fresh? They don't-
Yeah.
Killed.
Look,
just
they're still
today.
pooping.
Right. Hang on. Are those rabbits or jackalopes?
Jackalopes.
Which one is less offensive?
They're both very edible.
Right. Well, you're sort of evil, aren't you?
Why?
A jackalope. A poor jackalope.
They were already dead when we found them.
This has gone
Right,
downhill.
in that case, I definitely won't be buying them from you tonight.
They reproduce like rabbits.
Right. Anyway,
Amazing.
Do a lot of damage to the wild fauna.
you know, actually, jackalopes
Flora.
are only capable of having about one offspring every 2 or 3 years.
Exactly.
Oof. We're just two family boys. This ain't
Sorry,
shit.
you did what?
I said I miss my family.
We're nice
Right.
people.
Well,
They were suffering.
here's the key to your room.
They probably have like cancers.
I'd prefer to stop this
Let's
conversation
eat
right
the
now.
cancer
So
jackalopes.
you can't cook them up for us.
I would really prefer not to. Just
Is there a fire in our room?
no, there's not a fire in
Is
your
there a
room.
kitchen
Is there
where we can cook them up ourselves?
Yeah. Is there a communal kitchen?
What kind of place do you think this is?
An inn.
A place where we can cook food.
You can buy food.
This lady's very
I would like to look around if there's like a fireplace in the open area.
Yes, there's a fireplace.
I reckon I put on my
Can we
bags
stay
up
there for
top.
the night?
And, yeah, and
In the
just
fire?
I don't need sleep. She's just gonna sit down and get a cushion for this one.
Yeah, we just chill there.
We don't even need a bed. Can we just have a seated, a seated cushion, a chair with a cushion?
when does the bar close?
Are you allowed to drink?
No, I'm just like
Oh,
asking
wondering.
like when they close their restaurant bit.
Right, we'll be open to late. I don't know, around midnight. See, here's the thing. I only gave you the room as cheap as I did because you're friends with Jeremiah there. If you guys are going to be causing problems, I'll have to charge you full price.
What's full price?
For the room you just described, it'll be 6 silver.
6 silver.
As
As I just
That's
push people, let's just go as I push everyone. I'm also drag because I can't lift my arms up properly.
I wish I had
Fine,
prestidigitation.
fine. We'll just have rotting jackalopes.
Oh, we should make jerky.
We should!
No, we shouldn't.
Biltong time.
Built up. There you go. That's what I want to hear.
There we go. But we're not saying this in front of Cassidy.
We
Jer-
say this on the stairs.
On the stairs. We should make biltong!
Jeremiah, like as you guys walk away from the bar, Jeremiah has sat down at a table and he says, once you guys have put your stuff up in the room, come back down, we'll have a drink and just relax down here.
Okay.
And you guys can
I
go.
take the cowboy head with me. Hat. Sorry.
Cowboy head.
Yeah, you still got it.
I detach his head and take it with me.
That's for sure gonna get you kicked out of the inn.
This is such a fussy inn.
Right?
Cool. Yeah, you guys go up to your room. It's very small because it's yeah. So it's got a very small bed in the corner, and then like just a stool next to it, and a small window overlooking some of the cliffs out to the ocean, which you can't really see much of because it's dark now. But you can still hear the ocean, and this whole town, you've got that kind of salty smell that.
Perfect for preserving meat.
We would definitely make biltong.
Yeah.
Yes.
You guys whip out some spices that Althea apparently just carries around with her everywhere. Begin preparing this meat, which is a process that takes like several days,
We
and
can
you
pay it.
just hang up a bunch of meat in this room, which is far too damp to actually make biltong. But
Well, we can also always hang it up in the caravan as well.
Yeah, we would just start in the process. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
drying
great.
out the leather and whatnot as well.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have to start tanning, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From now on, everybody pisses in the bucket.
Get in the marinade bucket. Because I can't sleep, can I get hit
Hit by a
points
train?
or not?
Yeah, you can still.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
still do
like
that.
a long rest.
I just thought that because I don't really sleep in a sense. I can't
Yeah,
sleep.
but you
Need
can
a rest.
still
Rest.
rest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
we'll head back down to Jeremiah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Cool. So you guys are all going down there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You see Jeremiah down there at a table. He's pulled up like some extra chairs in anticipation of you guys. But there's this old halfling woman that has come over and they're chatting with each other and having a couple of drinks as you guys arrive. So you come closer and like as you guys approach, you hear him say, "Trade's been going well. There's your business is growth is slow, but we're making do. The village is sort of dependent on me to escort all their goods around, so yeah, it's going all right. How have you been, Maggie?" And the halfling woman says, "Well, I mean, I don't really like to complain, but things are going all right, I guess. But it's, I don't know. I guess it's nothing. It's just a nuisance, really."
I'd like to run up to her and be like, "Hi, I'm Felix."
Oh no, get into the juicy part.
Right.
She says, "Oh, hi there. Hi."
Hi. You look like you're bothered by something.
Is it you?
It's not me. It's not me.
How do you know that? Adorably annoying.
Felix starts crying.
Now she's annoyed by you.
She kind of looks at you, kind of a bit confused, and Jeremiah steps in and says, "Right, this is my traveling companions. This little one is called Felix. Felix, this is Maggie Richards." And Maggie sticks out a hand and says, "It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance."
I shake her paw.
She's like a halfling. She has a hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
I shake her paw.
You shake her paw. And she says, "You've been traveling with Jeremiah? Where are you guys heading to Vystaron as well?"
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are you guys doing over there?
We're gonna visit my daddy.
It's classified.
Right. I just sorry, it's none of my business. But I just feel
It's
like
her
I
father.
should clarify.
It's her father.
Okay.
After we see her daddy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm gonna get my allowance.
How
From
old
her
are you?
daddy.
Oh no.
8?
Okay. Do you guys are you responsible for this little one?
Nope.
Do we look responsible for her? Him?
Honestly, no. I'm quite worried about the choices you guys are allowing this small creature to make.
So I heard
You're a
Yeah.
small creature too.
Oof. Yeah.
Vicious mockery.
You're only a few inches taller than me.
He's
Yes.
A couple of inches makes the difference.
Oh.
Why is everyone so concerned with this? You kill a few jackalopes, it's like, oh no.
Size doesn't matter.
Right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend you. I just
You did though.
yes. There's nothing wrong with being small. I'm tiny.
Very small.
Yes.
Calm down.
You're exceptionally tall, aren't you?
Please don't talk to me like that. I'm joking. We heard you have a nuisance. Apart from this one.
I'm not a nuisance.
Was it
Of
this
course not.
one?
You're not. No. You're not a nuisance.
Yeah.
That cowboy hat looks adorable on you, by the way.
Right?
Yeah.
It's mine.
Yeah. It's so. Okay. So I've got a small farm out on the outskirts of the town.
Mice. Yeah.
And
Been there.
well, no, I think it's a bit bigger than mice.
Jackalopes.
We can handle those.
We can handle jackalopes.
Right. I just think, like, someone's been messing with me. There have been, I think it's teenagers, that have been,
Youth.
they've been destroying my farm. Really. They've been vandalizing, they've been breaking into my house and, like, smashing up some furniture and things.
Are they about the size of a jackalope? Because we can take care of them.
Well, that's the thing. I haven't seen them, and but they've been
Leprechauns.
ruining my crops
Ooh.
and
Canaries.
just sort of wreaking havoc around. I go to sleep at night, and then when I wake up again, everything's ruined, and I can never find them.
So you've never woken up while all the supposed smashing and breaking has been happening?
Well, I mean, there's a few times that, like, I'm pretty sure that's what's woken me up. But then, as soon as I wake up, they just, like, they just run away really fast.
Do you remember to leave the cream out for the leprechauns at night? Because
That's what I
that
was
might be
about
it.
to say.
Of course.
Okay.
I mean,
What kind?
I've tried staying up like a bunch of times and sort of like waiting for them so I can catch them in the act. But I don't know. It's like they know that I'm not asleep. So when I don't go to sleep,
Are you sleepwalking?
That's what I was about to suggest.
Yeah.
what, you think I'm just sleepwalking and ruining all my crops?
Yes.
Yeah,
Then
have
why,
you maybe
why would I wake
tried...
up in bed with everything destroyed outside?
Because you always return to
So
the
as you
place
can.
you...
But if
how about
I
you...
wake up from the noise and I'm still inside in my bed exactly where I was,
You know, the reason my mum doesn't sleep in the same room as my dad is because he snores so loud he wakes himself up. So I feel like the same thing might be going
I
on.
feel like that's not right.
No, that's what she told me. I'm pretty sure that's right.
Is that what they were
that
saying?
sounds like he has sleep apnea actually.
No,
It sounds like they had marriage problems.
I don't think we really need to get into that.
Anyway, so I think, how about we just come over to your place and have a sleepover?
Yeah. Do you perhaps have a fire?
Do you have a very dry room?
But perhaps you can smoke.
Yeah. You can make a fire in the fireplace. So you guys want to camp out and
I can
and try to
stay
catch
up all
them?
night for you.
I can meditate, but also stay up.
And I'm a cat.
Just
You guys
that.
are willing to do that for me?
Yes, we're good people. Cassidy, we're good people. Is Cassidy around?
Cassidy just shouts back, "Those jackalope populations are endangered."
Shut up, Cassidy.
That's because they taste so damn good.
It's because they're so slow.
You're all evil people, you are.
Man, Cassidy's a hoot. Ain't you?
Have you guys been killing jackalopes?
No. We've been euthanizing them.
We've been helping them, really.
Yeah, nah.
It's mercy killing, really.
Oh no. Okay. We just let him drink the Kool-Aid.
Do you want help or not, Maggie? Stop asking so many questions about jackalopes.
Yeah, I mean, after we'll have a couple more drinks. We'll go back. Honestly, I think it's Hilton and Santo, those little teenagers.
Santa?
Santo.
I was like, whoa.
I was just like, whoa, do we have permission to kill these people? Or
No, don't kill them. It's just they're teenagers.
severely injured? Alright, go on.
They are constantly in trouble with the guards, and they're just. I mean, they had rough childhoods and everything, but then that's really no excuse to act the way that they do.
That's right. Nature versus nurture. I agree.
Yeah, my brother Fabian, he's kind of like the black sheep of the family. He used to take his claws to the little cars that we have, which are, of course, carriage drawn by feral cats.
Of course.
And he would just like scratch his initials in, and we would all get in trouble.
So we'll break a few legs? Is that what you're asking?
Please don't break a few legs.
Few
I I mean, that's really unfair of your parents to punish all of you for...
Yeah. Because, like,
Just
they
like-
couldn't tell who it was, but it was always him.
I mean, he put his initials in there. Surely
Yeah,
they'd
we
be
all
able
have
to
the
tell.
same initials.
Huh.
FDF?
I mean, that's kind of... that can be
Yeah.
problematic. Like, if you guys get mail and it just says, like,
You got
FF, how do you know who it's for?
You just open the mail and it's who it seems wrong. There was actually a time where Felicia and Francisca were applying to the same college and at the same time as well because they're twins. And,
They both got
you know, right? We only got one acceptance letter and it was, ooh. So,
Right, that's
Definitely
tough.
Felicia who got it.
yeah, it
Miss
was.
Keisha.
Felicia is the smart one.
That's what I thought. Sounds smart.
Great. You guys have a few more drinks during the night. You take time to kind of rest up, so you guys can get all your hit points back from
The
resting.
only one who's been injured is Thorax. Sorry about
I
that.
wonder by who.
Weird. Weirdest thing.
And yeah, so you guys have a few more drinks, and then later in the night, you guys head back to Maggie's farm with her. So she's treated you guys to like free drinks and a couple of snacks and stuff during the night for doing this favor for her. And you guys, I mean, like I said, it's not a very big town, so you guys get to the outskirts reasonably quickly, and you get to her farm. There's a little, like a white timber gate that you guys go through and walk up a little garden path, and she's got some crops, some like corn and some wheat and stuff, and a couple of scarecrows in the fields.
So it's like a
watching over everything.
halfling farm. It's not like a farm.
Well, I mean, this is
It's
just
half the size.
Okay, yeah.
this is just an old lady who, from what you've gathered, talking to her during the night, she just lives on her own here.
Okay,
So
so it's a
she's-
self-sufficient halfling farm.
Yeah, I mean, it's just sort of she's settled down.
Aw.
It's it's just her little piece of land overlooking the ocean.
Can't believe Santa would do this to her.
He's usually such a nice man.
Yeah.
We trust him with our chimneys.
Wow, what? Slides down the chimneys.
Cool. And you guys, she kind of shows you around a bit inside. It's just like a small 2-room cottage where you've got the bedroom that's closed off, and then one room that has like a table and some chairs and a fireplace and some cooking pots and all that sort of stuff, all in one. Where do you guys want to kind of set up for the night? Are you going to be inside the house, or are you going to be like watching from outside? Or
I think
I'm
we
gonna
should
sit
have a
on the
game plan.
couch.
I feel nothing, so I will go outside. What crops is she growing there? Am I able to go like in the middle of some like tall cornfield?
Yeah, do you have,
Yeah.
do you have Mask of the Wild?
no, I mean you can just be in the middle of the
But
cornfield.
she,
Like
you're
a
a
scarecrow.
wood elf, aren't you?
Yeah,
So you
because I can
have-
like hide in
Yeah, she can hide in the.
in nature.
Any of you can hide in nature. Mask of the Wild just makes it you can hide in more situations, but
yeah,
anyone can hide
does
in
it like
corn.
give an advantage on stealth or something, or what?
No, it basically just like normally for you to be able to make a hide check, there's got to be something behind which you can actually hide, like a cornfield or whatever. But Mask of the Wild is like even if it's just
Really small stuff you can hide, I think.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
so
and
it
if
just
it's
gives
if
you-
it's like
okay.
raining, you can make.
You
Alright.
camouflage.
Then you
Yeah.
can. What's your perception like?
I
I'm gonna
have
sit on
dark.
the
We all
couch.
have dark vision.
We all have dark
60
vision.
feet.
What's your
We all have. Yeah, we're both pretty good. We could be outside because what we're gonna ask her.
You guys can both be outside. I mean, the house is pretty
Yeah,
small
we
for
can
both
do
of
that.
you anyway.
As
And
you
I'll-
say, as you curl by the fire,
Yeah.
But I feel nothing, so it's okay.
That's true.
I'll give you a shout if something starts happening.
What's
yeah,
the game
I'll
plan?
go hide outside as well.
Guess we'll hide on two
You
separate
you
sides
can
of the
pretend
house.
to be a scarecrow.
No, they'll break me.
Cause you like you don't really move a lot, right? Like how much does it like?
I think we're gonna.
He can
ask
just
her
like
again.
stand still and
Yeah.
stare into the void.
Yeah, I think we're gonna ask her again. Like, so what exactly happens when you fall asleep and wake up?
Well, I mean, it's not every night, but like when it happens, it's just like crops are trampled, and like on the way up here, you guys did see like some of the fields were just like trampled with crops like strewn everywhere and across the path, and inside the house as well, you can notice like a lot of the furniture has like scratches and like dents, and it looks like a couple of the chairs were just used to like smash into things. They've got kind of like broken feet that have just been attempted to. She's like tried to fix them.
Maybe because like you can be outside-ish by the gate, and I'll hide nearer to the house. You know, and then Felix can be inside the house.
What's gonna be our signal?
Screams.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm gonna do an owl, and then feel like every time I do the owl thing, I feel it's just like ow.
No? That's a dove. I'll do a dove.
It's like owl or dove.
It's a dove. Or pigeon.
Yeah, that.
No,
Well, yeah,
it's-
dove, pigeon, same thing. In some languages, they're the same thing.
Ah,
Yeah.
I'll call. Caw. Caw. That'll be my signal.
Cool.
Which
So
something
just
we'd
some
have.
random noise, like a
Yes.
bird noise or something.
Oh,
that you guys are gonna do.
yeah. Okay.
Cool. You guys set up. Felix is all warm and toasty next to the fire. Torax just goes into the crop field and stares just into the night, unblinking,
Into the
unwavering.
Mm.
And Carmen, did you say you're closer to the gate?
Yeah, to the house. I'm gonna hide nearest to the entrance of the house.
Okay. And you guys all kind of post up there for the night. A couple of hours go by without anything happening. But then around 3 or 4 a.m., you guys begin to hear some noises. And you can hear like some rustling between the crops, and you can hear the sounds of like hacking and so on. The two of you that are outside, you guys can make perception checks.
Hit me with that.
Ooh, 15.
16.
Sorry, 16, 15, cool.
Mhm.
You guys do see, it's kind of hard to see between the crops and everything, but you see some figures moving in there and just sort of like slashing at things, and like humanoid figures.
Like tall, big.
They're like
Little fish.
roughly like human proportions.
Cool.
Just sort of, moving between the crops and like trampling things and smashing things apart and so on.
Can I try and like sneak up?
I feel like let's
Closer?
wait a little bit.
Okay.
You just want to wait and see what happens?
I'll wait.
How close is she?
Yeah. How far away are they from me?
Well, these figures aren't together. They're kind of spread out. So
Like, how many are we seeing? Like 2, 3?
you can see 3 of them.
Okay.
So there's
So it might not be the pair.
they're like fairly evenly spread around the house.
Okay.
Yeah, all off in different directions.
What? Oh my goodness.
The?
Maggie.
Maggie will be asleep. Dwarf boy.
Oh, sorry, the dwarf actually. You guys left him at the
Jeremiah
the
stayed
inn.
at the end.
Oh, we
Yeah.
left him at the end. Yeah, fair call.
I would like to try and sneak up to the closest figure to me.
And then as she's doing that, I'm gonna make my bird calling noise to potentially not only alert her that I've seen the people, but to also let the people inside know, and then to hopefully distract him as well, because he's going to look towards me where the call is coming from.
Okay. Althea, you can give me a stealth check.
Ooh, natural 20.
Yeah!
Nice. Yeah, you just like disappear into the crops, and like wind your way up into the thing. You make your bird call, and Felix. Felix, you can give me a perception check with disadvantage to see whether or not this kind of wakes you from your peaceful slumber.
5.
Felix sleeps peacefully for now.
Nice.
And you sneak closer to the one that's closest to you. And as you come up right behind it, you see this figure dressed in kind of tattered clothing that's just like hacking at the corn all around it, and it doesn't see you because you rolled so well on your stealth check.
Can I like do like move like chokehold and then cover their mouth and just kind of.
Yeah, sure. Give me a grapple check. So roll athletics with advantage because you are completely surprising this person.
Oh, that's a good advantage.
With athletics.
Yeah.
You got athletics, don't you?
So that's 13.
Okay. This creature, like as you run at this thing and like grab it, you feel this doesn't feel like a person should feel. There's way too much give. It like feels far too soft. And then as you try to grab it, it manages to just slip out of the way. And it turns and faces you, and you see it's wearing this like sack on its head that's torn where the eyes and mouths should be. And the mouth just is gaping open with this orange glow that ignites the mouth and the eyes. And it stares at you as you realize this is an animated scarecrow.
And you wanted to be an scarecrow.
Everyone roll initiative.
Even me?
Yeah, we'll roll initiative for you, and then we'll...
Go.
Oh, 20.
Natural 20. Great. Althea?
Woo! That's 6.
Nat 2.
Uh-huh.
19.
I was
19?
just really shocked by that. Oh.
Great, and that's actually where we're going to end today's episode.
Yep.
Cool, and the next time, I don't know, I didn't think we were going to spend so long on hunting jackalopes and canaries. But yeah, we've kind of run out of time, so next time we'll see what happens with these scarecrows.
In the meanwhile, you can find us on Instagram by searching Erithum, ERRITHUM.
You can send us an email at erithum.podcast@gmail.com.
And if you want to leave a review, Apple Podcasts is the best place to do so. Or just wherever.
And we'll see you next week.
Cool. Bye.